Hi, and in this video we're going to be talking about my 5 top tips to getting community funding. So I'm going to run through what my top tips are to create a strong project that will get funding. But before I do that, please subscribe to this channel. I post different videos about community funding, how to get funding, how to start projects, how to start a CIC. And if you want to know more about starting a CIC, jump over to my website, ask me any questions you want about your ideas. And also I've got an online course, how to set up a CIC and get funded in 4 months. So that all aside now, let's jump straight in. So here are my 5 top tips to getting your community project idea funded. Tip number 1 is you need to have a good innovative idea. So it needs to be an idea that no one else is doing in your community, because funders won't fund multiple projects that are doing the same thing. So it has to be something different. Think about a problem in your community and a solution. What's your solution to it? So what are you going to give? What are you going to bring to the table? And make sure that no one else is doing it. So that's the first one. Strong, innovative, creative, unique idea. Number 2, partners. So you want to make sure that you've got good partners. Now, what I mean by this is funders will look for a good, strong project, and a good, strong project will be working with the community in some way. So your partners might be an organisation that might be referring people over to you. So for instance, if I'm running a youth workshop, maybe the local youth clubs will refer people over, maybe the local schools will refer people over. So that they would be down as my partners. If I'm an artist, I might be partnering with some other artists. I might have a mentor as well. They love it if you've got a mentor, because they think, well, you're going to be running a stronger project if you're working with an expert, especially if you're new to running projects. So a mentor is another good partner, artists, and also look in your area other larger funded projects. So for instance, if you've got here, I've got the Cornish Archives, which I've worked with. They're funded by the National Lottery and the Heritage Lottery. So I've done work with them. So when I go to the lottery and say, I want to do this little heritage project, but I've got the backing of my local Cornish Archives. They know who they are. They've already given thousands of pounds to them. So that is another reason why they will fund me, because I've got that link. Same goes if I run an art project and I work with the local arts projects who already have larger art pots. So that could be like a local gallery, museum, it could be, whatever you've got in your community. So definitely network, see what's going on in your community, book coffee meetings with the managers, go and have a chat with people, see if you can put them down as a mentor, or see if you can put them down as a partner. Tip number 3, consult your community. So consult your community. Funders will ask, have you consulted your community? Has your community said there's a need for this? So you need to have done some kind of work to consult your community. That could be, say you're running a workshop and it's with people, young people, for example. You know, can you get those young people in? Have you gone and had a chat with some young people? Have you given out some surveys? Have you maybe contacted some parents and some teachers to see what the gaps are, to see what needs to be filled in your area, to see what kind of creative workshops you could come up with that the young people don't already have access to? So you need to consult with your community. A steering group is another good thing. So say like you're going to be delivering something in the community, they want to see that you've gone and had a meeting with the local town council, or put together a little steering group of a couple of different people in your area and had a chat about what everybody thinks would be viable, what everybody would like to see. You could do little votes, you could do Facebook polls, like anything like that really. Send out email surveys. So just do a little bit of work before you do a project in making sure you've consulted your community. Number 4, have a realistic budget. So, they're going to be giving you all this money. You need to make sure that you spend it well and it's realistic. If you don't have a good budget, then you're not going to have a good project. Like for instance, if you miss off materials that you're going to need or equipment that you need to hire, then you're going to come into trouble, because you need to be able to provide that through your budget. So, and you need to have done that in your original plan, and you need to stick with your original plan. You can go back to them and say, oh, I put this down, I'm not going to spend it on that now, I want to spend it on this. But you need to go and email them, and it's obviously hassle. So you want to make sure you get that right in the first instance. Make sure you've got materials, venue hire, Check all these prices out before you write your form. One mistake I have seen is that people will hire bid writers to write their applications for them, and they make so many mistakes because they just make up figures because they don't care about your project. They just want to get it through so that they get their money. But that's the wrong way to do it. You want to make sure you researched it all properly. I strongly advise you write your own application form so you get this right. Or if you are getting someone else to write it, write your budget and hand it to the bid writer to write it out. So make sure you get it right. Must pay yourself. You are not supposed to be working for free, okay? No one is supposed to be working for free. You are supposed to pay yourself. Funders will expect you to pay yourself, and actually they want you to pay yourself quite well. So the national guidelines, and I talk about this in a lot of my videos, if you go to the Artists Union, it says project manager or lead artist on a project, £349 a day. That's what you're supposed to be paying yourself. £41 an hour. That is the national guideline. That's what you're supposed to pay yourself. If you're hiring, say, an artist or a sessional worker to do some work, then that would be lower. That's like 150 a day for, like, say you hired a youth worker to do a workshop for you for a day. It's like 150. Then say if you hired an artist who's a graduate, that's £200 from the Arts Council Union. So check the national guidelines. I've got that written on my website. I've got it in my courses. I've got it in videos on this. I've got the links. www.artistsunion.co.uk. Go and have a look for yourself. So make sure you pay yourself. So that makes it realistic. You need to pay yourself. You're going to be giving so much of your time to this. So if you get a £10,000 project and you pay yourself £9,000, it's because you're doing all the work, because you're the lead person. And then say £1,000 left to do the venue hire and buy some materials for the workshops. Completely reasonable. That's what's expected. Now, when it comes to advertising, don't waste money on advertising. You want to just do target ads, whether it be Facebook ads, or you might not even need ads at all. If you've gone and you've got people that are going to be referring over to you, or you're going to be using the free local press, or just posting on your social media, then you don't necessarily need to pay for ads. You can pay for Facebook ads because they're really cheap and they're really, really effective. So say £100, £200 for Facebook ads, and then maybe put a budget in for a website as well, which is like on Wix, say £140 a year for a Wix website. Now also remember your accounting as well. So your accountant for a CIC is about £250 is what it costs me for my accounts for CIC. So budget that in as well. So that's your budget. Now, number 5, make sure all your aims are clear. So say you're running a project, so you've got your innovative idea, but what are your outcomes going to be? You need to spell these out, bullet point them, number them. So what are your outcomes? So say you're going to be running 4 workshops, 1 exhibition, producing a zine book. So something along those sorts of lines. Say you're a food bank, you're going to be delivering to X amount of local families, food parcels. You are going to be working on X amount of days. So you need to be really clear, like how many days are you going to work? How many people are going to benefit from this? How many workshops you're going to run? How many food parcels are you going to make? Whatever it is you're doing, you need to specify in numbers how exactly how many. So be really, really clear on your aims or they will reject your application. So a good, strong project, an achievable project, needs to have good, strong, clear aims. Do not overestimate it. Don't think that with £10,000 you're going to cure the world's problems. It's a tiny, tiny amount of money. So don't have too big aims or overstretch yourself. For example, say I run a project and I've got 4 workshops and I benefit 20 people. That's more than enough. That's enough. That's enough work. You don't need to be paying yourself that much more. You don't need to be overestimating and thinking you need to be benefiting hundreds of people. That's not the case. Usually you have a wider audience and a wider community benefit. So say like you've benefited 20 people on a workshop, but you've got a wider community benefit because say you've produced a lovely, art exhibition and, a few hundred people have engaged with it, then you've got like a wider audience. Or say you've done something in the community, like made a community garden or something, and then a few thousand people have gone and then used it after that as a long lasting thing in your community that has benefit. If you're reducing antisocial behaviour, that has a wider benefit to the community. So a lot of the times, you'll have a target, but there'll be like that extra benefit, which you can't really put a number on, and you don't know how long it will last, because that's lasting benefit and impact that you're going to have in your community. So that was my 5 top tips. I hope you found that useful. Please hit the subscribe button if you did. I've got loads more advice. And if you want to ask me any questions, whether you think your idea is going to be viable for a CIC, then please jump over to my website, and you can jump in the chat and just ask me, like, do I think that this would get funding, or do you think that I should apply for this funding pot or that one? And I'll answer your questions. I'm more than happy to do that. You can also jump in and buy a membership or buy the online course that I talked about, how to set up a CIC and get funded in 4 months. So that's all over on the website. Hope you like the video, and I'll see you again for the next one.